The most important decision for you to make right now is this: who am I going to be? Who you become will be more important than what you have. It'll be more important than what you do. It'll be more important than who you do it with. You can be a nobody and have no moral compass. Just do what feels good. You can stand for nothing, but if you do that, you'll kind of be nothing. These nobodies live and die, but their lives really don't matter much. Or you can be an anybody. An anybody just believes whatever others believes and does whatever others do. These people get devoured on college campuses. And an anybody just fits in with who they're with and whatever's going on. Who they're with determines what they'll do. The third option is to be a somebody. To be a somebody. A somebody knows who he is, and he knows why he is that, and he knows what he will do, and he knows what he will not do. He's already made all those decisions. If you're a somebody, then whatever anybody else is doing has absolutely nothing to do with you. So in high school, you've heard, well, everybody's doing it. It doesn't matter if everybody literally was. Has no meaning to a somebody. Because a somebody doesn't determine their life by what others do. They determine their lives by who they have decided to become. And so you need to decide who you're going to become, not let others do it for you. The best version of yourself is being who God made you to be. If you don't become that person, you never become you. And how could you ever know real fulfillment and satisfaction if you never become you? If you don't know the God you were made to know, if you don't become the person you were made to be, if you don't do the things you were made to do, then you never become you. You spend your entire life beneath who you were supposed to have been, being less than what you could have been. The second big decision is, who will I be with? Who will I be with? What kind of person will I be? Who will I be? And then who will I be with? The Bible says that bad company corrupts good morals. It's easier to pull somebody down than to lift somebody up. A somebody decides what kind of friends he has. He doesn't get picked, he picks. A somebody decides what kind of person they will date and marry. He or she doesn't get picked, they pick. Because they've thought about this. They thought about the kind of person they want to be with. Not just anybody will do. They look for friends who will help them become the best version of themselves. People that they are better with, that they are less than without. And he determines beforehand what kind of person, again, he will date and marry. The third decision is this: where do I want to go? Who do I want to be? Who will I be with? Where do I want to go? What do I want to do for a living? As far as my career goes, what do I want to be doing 10, 20, 30 years from now? And once I've decided where I want to go, I must decide what will help me get there. This includes people who can help me, education, training, experience, good moral choices, what you put on social media, because that is there forever. And I must determine what will keep me from getting there. Here's where I want to be. I want to have this kind of life. I want to be this kind of person. I want to have this kind of career. Then what helps me to get there and what keeps me from getting there? Listen real closely. You're going to end up where you're going. That's pretty profound, isn't it? Where are you going right now? That's determined where you're going to end up. When you're in high school, everybody seems to be the same, don't they? If you've ever snorkeled and seen a school of fish, you can see about 100 fish, and they're in this big circle, and they're just pointed in every direction, but they're in a group about this big, these small fish. But it's, throw a rock in and they scatter. And so in high school right now, everybody seems to be the same. I just had my 45th anniversary this past year, high school anniversary, and reunion. And so what that means is I'm older than dirt, right? So, but can I tell you, people aren't like now. See, back then, one person was pointing this way. He ended up way over there. He ended up where he was going. And somebody else ended up over here. They ended up where they were going. Everybody ends up where they're going. Where are you going? Where are you going? Say, well, one day I'll decide where I'm going to go. No, you'll be halfway there when you make your decision. You're going somewhere right now. You're going to end up where you're going. Where you will be, the kind of life you have someday in the future is being determined by what you do right now. Choices made now determine the life you'll have later. Pretty much every person who's successful, whether that be spiritually, relationally, physically, psychologically, financially, professionally, successful people can tell you why they're successful. They thought about it. They knew where they wanted to go. They knew what would keep them from getting there, and so they avoided those things. They knew what would help them to get there, and so they chose to do those things. They may acknowledge that they've been blessed, but they're aware that the good life they have now is not an accident. It's what they planned on. It's what they worked for. It's what they worked toward. And now it's what they have. Most people who fail, whether that's spiritually, relationally, physically, psychologically, financially, professionally, people who fail usually don't know why they failed. They did not understand that choices made now determine the kind of life they have later. They didn't realize that they end up where they're going. They never connected the dots. They usually think that successful people just got lucky. Well, you just got lucky. No, they didn't. You will be someday who you choose to become now. Who you choose to be, who you choose to be with, and what you do now will determine who you are, who you're with, and where you are, and what your life is like later. The Bible says Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. The next 4 to 10 years of your life is when he can steal, kill, and destroy best. The next 4 to 10 years of your life are the years he can steal, kill, and destroy best. Jesus came to give you an abundant life. An abundant life requires intelligent choices. I am now who I decided to be when I was your age. Everybody that knows me from high school knows that I have just become more of what I was when I was a senior. And I was a mess when I was a sophomore and junior. But when I was a senior, I decided I'd follow the Lord. He'd be first in my life. And so when I see somebody 45 years later, they're not surprised. I have ended up where I was going. I have become who I was becoming. I have the kind of life in marriage, 40 years next month, that I planned on and worked for. Who I am, who I'm still becoming, is who I decided to be when I wore a cap and a gown like yours. Your future starts now. It doesn't start when you graduate from college, or when you get married, or when you get your career started, or when you have some kids, or when your kids leave the house. Your future starts now. Your choices, good and bad, are going to shape it. So choose well and start choosing well now.